welcome to another episode of Off the Hook with Matty D. I'm your host, Matt DiNardo. As we approach winter, you might be saying, all right, time to put the rods and reels down. No, it is not. It is time to really crank things up and get ready for next season, or maybe get into fly fishing. The man with a plan on all this is my friend, Captain Simone Valencia. Simone, how are you?
What's up, Maddie? I'm back, man. I'm back. I'm excited to be here.
It's good to see you. Haven't seen you because you've been super busy. You had a great summer red fishing. Fall, well, was good, but I kind of threw some monkey wrenches with some really tough northeast winds at times. How was it overall?
A great year.
Okay, good.
So far, so good. And we're still on them. We've had some really great days lately.
Yep.
Clear water, calm conditions. The fish are moving slower. We can get a little closer. We can see them further away because the water's so clear. Mm-hmm. That sounds like it's easier, but it also takes on a whole nother set of challenges. We need delicate presentations, slow presentations, lots of composure while the fish eat the fly. We gotta have just the right hook sets. We're down to very light leaders because the water's so clear they can see them. So it brings a whole lot of complications, but we're doing great.
Good.
We're doing great. It's been a great year, best year I've had on the water. Super grateful to have it. Super grateful to be here. We're gonna continue on through the winter. We're not gonna put the redfish program away. Even though we do have other programs going on, we do have our striped bass, fall, winter striped bass. We do have duck hunts. We do have upland bird hunts.
Right.
So there's tons of other stuff we're engaged in, but redfish is not going to slow down, at least on our calendars. The redfish are going to slow down,
sure,
and present different challenges, but it's never easy. So I'm excited to keep on with the challenge this year.
This is the first year that you've decided to really keep your redfish program going on for the entire winter. Usually you take about a month and a half off, maybe a little bit longer than that, but you're going to let it go and really be particular about the days you're going to target those redfish.
Yeah, last year was the year that let me know that I could stay on the fish. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, the best day I had on the water was February 4th. Right. It was the best day I had on the water. It was Wayne McMasters and myself. The two of us went out and had just a really special day. Caught a lot of fish. Got a lot of denials, but caught a lot of fish. And it was just a really cool day.
Right.
Usually I put down January, February, but this year we found fish January and February and found them in March. We found them all year, and I'm pretty much dead set unless it's really, really cold and we're in the middle of a really bad cold snap.
Right.
That's when I'll put it down. But as far as the seasonality of it goes, we're going to go year round.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
We're going to go year round.
So you approached me a couple weeks ago with this idea that you wanted to talk about getting people into fly fishing, which I think is a great idea because there seems to be more of a buzz, even in our local community, about doing fly fishing. So I love the idea. But before we get going, for those that are just joining us for the first time, Simone, in a simplified term, and there's probably no way to answer this simply, what is fly fishing beside a frustration for every angler?
Fly fishing is simply the use of an incredibly light lure that doesn't have enough mass, right? So right here we have just basically a little shrimp fly. Mm-hmm. It's about 3 inches in length. It is made of basically poly cloth.
Right.
And it's just very light. And if you were to put it on a regular fishing rod and you tried to huck it as far as you could, it wouldn't go far.
Correct.
Because of that, we use fly line which has much more mass to propel our fly, which is a light lure,
right,
to the fish. And that is the simplest version. It actually comes from the tradition of trout fishing, when they realized they needed very light flies that would suspend on top of the water, that the fish would come up and eat them. It's not just that anymore, but that is what it used to be. That's where it came from, is the necessity of throwing something very light that needed to float. So you couldn't put weight to it or it would sink. You couldn't throw it because it wouldn't go anywhere because it's so light. So they attached this heavier line. They used to be made of silk, a heavier, thicker line in order to get it, 30 feet out.
Right.
So fly fishing is just another way to fish an artificial lure that has no weight. That's really at its core. I mean, is that?
I think it's a good answer. Yeah, for sure.
What would you say?
I say it's mounds of frustration to achieve one success that makes you come back time and time again. Because there is a beautiful art in the presentation, which is being able to cast that line, to have the fly, the lure, as you say, land delicately either on the water or subsurface, because there's different types, to attract a fish. And you do fly tying classes. When you're able to, that's the cool thing too, to tie your own fly and to fool that fish into that is truly the bait that he's seeking. There's something magical about that whole process.
Bringing it full circle, right?
Yeah,
so
right.
like, why fly fish, right? Why fly fish? And it's not because it's more efficient than bait.
Right.
It isn't.
No.
Right? It's not more efficient than bait. It's not more effective. It does have its pros, right? We do have the ability to present something in a more delicate manner. Nothing lands softer on the water than, a couple of synthetic fibers or
Right.
a couple of feathers and hair. Nothing lands softer on the water. So if you need to sneak up on a fish, on a wary fish, I think we do have an edge. But it's not the easiest or most efficient way to catch fish. If I had to survive, I probably wouldn't pick fly fishing as my method of catching fish.
Right. But there is that, we've all seen that National Geographic style thing where the fly is floating on the water and the trout comes up and sips it, and we're all like, oh, that's so pretty, and that shot in, such high resolution photography, and it's incredible. But, that happens in such a quick second. You're like,
Why do you fly fish? I mean, is it the...
Great question. So when I lived in upstate New York,
Yeah.
I drove back and forth to work and crossed over an Adirondack stream called the West Canada Creek, which is one of the top 10 streams in the Adirondacks and New England to fish for trout. And I would constantly go over this bridge, and I'd see these older seniors out there with their fly baskets and fly rods, magically just casting, and it was, as I mentioned, art.
Yeah.
And I would stop on the bridge and watch for hours. Literally just in amazement.
It's a dance with physics.
And yes, and so I went to a local fly shop and I said, "What is this fly fishing?" And the gentleman who ran the shop said, "We're doing a class this Saturday. Would you like to be part of it?" And of course, I said yes. Which, by the way, let's just bring this up here.
We got a class not this
December 6th and 7th. Yeah, and this is very similar to the type of class that I attended on this gentleman's front lawn to understand what a rod is, what a reel is, what line is. I had no knowledge of this. And that was 1994.
So like a couple of weeks ago.
Just a short smidge ago. And now I'm more in debt to fly fishing, but I've also developed this brotherhood, this friendship. You,
Yeah.
right? Ron, my buddies in upstate New York, wherever they are, right? I mean, and so it's become this cool thing. There's other people, like when you hold, and back to your thing here, I'll pull this back up. When you hold your fly tying classes, which you've held and you have more coming up here, I love sitting down and just talking about fly fishing for reds or trout or speckled trout or shad or
Bonefish.
Oh, yeah. It was so great. Anyway, so let's get into this. So before we get too far, talk about the beginners. What can people learn in the beginners comprehensive class? What is this about?
So I'm actually going to go through basically a baby version of the beginner's comprehensive here. Basically, the checklist of what I look for to be taught in this class, and I'm not gonna do an 8-hour class here on the mic with you because
Right.
it would bore everyone to tears. But hopefully, we can convince somebody to come to this
Sure.
class. That would be great. We have a couple seats open for it still, so but the goal of the class, we start with a little bit of history, which I just gave a little bit of history.
Yep.
Comes from the tradition of trout fishing, the necessity of throwing a very light object further than you could with your bare hand or just a rod, where the fly line comes in. We go through casting. We talk physics. We actually go out and practice. We tie knots, right?
Which are important because there's different knots to tie that are important. There's a whole education you're going to learn.
Yeah, and you know what? I also think that people have mystified it way too much. And we try to simplify it.
Okay.
Because I truly believe that fly fishing can be as complicated as you want it to be or as simple as you want it to be. If you just want to go to the pond and catch some panfish, that's going to be fine.
Yeah.
It can be whatever you want it to be. At the end of the class, you will be able to go to the pond and catch panfish on your own. But we do demystify a little bit. You know, there's hundreds of knots that people argue over.
Knots
We
like
simplify it to 6.
right. People
I
have
use 6.
the blood knot, the surgeon's knot, the
Both
improved
covered.
clench,
Not covered.
the
Regular clinch.
regular. Okay. There. I can't think of the one that's nail knot.
FG, perfection,
Right, there's-
bimini's. I mean, just
So many.
we simplify it to the ones that I use daily.
Right.
Guiding for every species, and it comes down to 6 knots.
Okay.
And we actually tie them, and we tie our own leader, which also helps us think about the physics of our cast.
Yep.
Just looking at the leader and tying a leader properly helps us think about the physics of the cast. What are things actually doing? We go through gear basics.
Beer is after the class. I
Beer
understand.
after the class. We go through gear basics, understanding what it is that all these different rods and weight and light lines and weights and sinking lines and intermediate lines. We talk about all of the nitty gritty stuff, which we are going to touch on here today.
Sure.
We also cover access in our general area. Safety precautions or safety measures to take, how to read a gauge, where the access points are, when to wear waders, when not to wear waders,
Right.
where different fish are going to be, where we usually pick a fish to break down, and I usually have people shut their eyes and take a vote on. I usually come in with 4 different presentations
Interesting. Okay.
ready to go, and I democratically
Pick one.
So whatever has the most votes, we go into it sometimes. So we have a presentation on shad and striper, one on trout, one on inshore saltwater, and one on striper shad, and then one on bass.
Okay.
And I come in with the 4 PowerPoints ready to rip. Whichever one gets voted in, that's the one we go with. So we talk about the seasonality, how to approach them, different targeting methods through the seasons. And the goal is that you walk out of the class and you can tie your own leader to your fly, select a fly, know what piece of water you're on, and decide, okay, there's this kind of fish here because it's warm water. It doesn't have a spring attached to it. So it's going to be panfish and bass. It's about this big, and we got oxygen here, and I'm going to put this fly because it's December,
Right.
and we're gonna try this fly, and we're gonna bounce it on the bottom slowly because they're moving slow, and make those decisions by the end of the class.
Sure.
We do have a fly tying component at the end of day 1, and that's a bonus. You can stay or leave and tie some flies, or you can go and do your Saturday night. And then day 2, we'll go fish for an hour or two for panfish. And most people will catch a panfish or two day 1 that we actually have a rod in hand. So
So I want to roll back here because you mentioned a couple of different species of fish. I think people also need to understand you can go after every species of fish on a fly rod. The difficulty will change based on the type of fish you're going for.
right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I mentioned fly fishing starts with trout.
Right.
And the tradition does start with trout, but in the 50s, there were 50s, 60s, there were a group of maniacs who decided, no, we're doing everything on a fly rod.
Right.
And they just, I mean, the stories of Lefty Cray or Chico and Flip Pallet using an air mattress to float out over a mile into Biscayne Bay to go catch tarpon they would buy 300-pound mono and cast it as their fly line because the fly lines that they had weren't heavy enough.
Right.
So, and they would sand it to give it a taper. I mean, impressive stuff. So we are standing on a lot of denial and error, a lot of innovation that has happened through
The past 50, 60 years, it's incredible.
People trying different things. And now we're at a point where you can fly fish for anything that swims in less than 30 feet of water. Just our programs alone cover striped bass, 4 species of herring, tons of different species of panfish, crappie, smallmouth bass, largemouth bass, gar, bowfin, carp, speckled trout, redfish, cobia, Spanish mackerel, bluefish, rainbow trout, brown trout, brook trout.
I mean, this is just in Virginia alone.
Yeah,
you go a state or two north or south, the species opens up even more.
But not much. Not much. That's like most of what there is we can catch here,
which is kind of nice. We're in a good position.
Yeah.
Geographically speaking.
Yeah, it's amazing, right?
Yeah, right.
You go north and then you end up with steelhead and salmon.
Right.
And
if you go down to North Carolina or South Carolina, you can get the fall false albies.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the one thing I wish that we could somehow get false albies right, like into the bay. It would be so cool.
Yeah. I have friends who've caught them.
Yeah, just offshore of Virginia Beach, right? Yeah.
But I've gone on that wild goose chase before and never found success.
That's a lot of chasing.
Oh my God, I have not done well with that.
Yeah.
But which is why I don't offer it. But we have a ton of species that we could target here in Virginia that I don't think there's another state that has as many different opportunities to fish as we do here.
So you love to fly fish. You love to guide.
Yeah.
But what got you into fly fishing? Like, what was that thing that was like, oh, this is...
It was the casting.
Okay.
It was the casting for sure. I mean, watching people cast, I was just mesmerized by the movement of the fly line, like a cat.
Right.
I was just that really is what got me into it. But I fly fish because it asks questions of me. It asks me to connect it to the water in a way that I don't think I would be connecting with it if I wasn't being challenged by it. I want to catch that fish with this set of feathers, really. Okay, well, how do I present it? And how does it need to land? And how fast does it need to move? And it's all up to you. And I tied it last night thinking of this scenario. And I came out here and so it asks it just asks questions of me that it just consumes my life.
Right.
Which is probably unhealthy, but it could be drugs.
I I can't say that it's cheap, but I mean, it is.
More sustainable.
I like your thought there of the connection to the water, because 90% of our life we're connected to these darn things, and so we're not for the hours that we're on the water. We're reading the water. We're understanding where the fish are. Which again goes back to your class. You teach reading the water. Where are the fish going to be? Where are they not going to be? Don't cast here and waste an hour of your life.
Right.
Right. That kind of a thing.
Yeah, no, it's that, and then you also mentioned the camaraderie,
Right.
right? Like I think that we all see each other in a very positive light, and I learn a ton from everybody in the community.
Yep.
So it's a pretty nice place to be in general, right? Like it just, we have a nice community. Of course, people are secretive about their spots.
Of course.
And there's definitely difficult challenges to any community, but I think it's a pretty supportive community. I know I've made so many great friends that I know I could call for anything fishing or non-fishing related.
100%.
And I think it's just because we love something
In
that
common
brings us
that-
together.
that
Yeah.
brings- yeah, for sure.
So it feels like a team. It really feels like a team a lot of the times, and that's awesome. So I have a good friend who, she has a PhD in philosophy and is way smarter than I'll ever aspire to be. And I taught her to fly fish, and she actually texted me this week with some amazing fish. She was fishing in Michigan, and the text said, "Thank you for teaching me how to fish." But back when she was learning, she said, "Yeah, fly fishing is about connection. That's what it's about." And I'm like, "What? I don't understand. What do you mean?" And she was like, "Well, you're connecting to the water in a specific way, and you're connecting to the people on the water in a specific way, and you're connecting to the environment in a specific way, and it's asking you to do that, or else you won't find success."
Yes.
And I think she's absolutely right.
Correct.
She had the analytic brain to figure
put
that
that all
out,
together,
to put
right.
that all together. But I think she's absolutely right. We fly fish because we want to.
Yep.
That's the only reason to fly fish, is because I want it.
Right. As you said, it's not the easiest thing to do. It can be extremely rewarding.
Yeah.
It can also be very frustrating.
Yep.
Right. Humbling, as we've discussed. But it's also that thing where you don't have to think about anything else, but just, I'm going to enjoy this moment.
Yeah.
And I think so. The connection part is there.
I always say it's like a meditation, right? You're deciding to spend your day doing something completely irrelevant.
Yep.
Right? We're recreational anglers.
Yeah.
Our livelihoods don't depend on us catching fish or not.
Correct.
You're deciding to spend a day doing something completely irrelevant, and there's not a chance that you're thinking about anything else. There's no mortgage or loans,
Car troubles or paying the bills or or being on a Zoom meeting call or whatever the case. No,
it's not happening.
No.
Right? It's just simply not going to happen, and you're disconnecting with everything to connect with something that's very primal.
Yeah.
Just
to be one with nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. It sounds like overly romanticized, but I feel that every day.
100%.
I feel that every day. So that's why I fly fish. Is just I picked it up hard while I was working a high stress job. It also doesn't help that my office overlooked the river, so I could see people fishing. But that's when it hit again, right? It's done this in my life, and then it just high stress job, working as a social worker / paralegal for a nonprofit, was incredible, like high stake cases.
Yeah.
where I felt like, well, if I don't work 14 hours, I'm gonna ruin someone's life. And I would take little lunch breaks and go fish and come back. But because of that stress, that's what brought me back to it. And now it's
Now it is your life.
all I do, all I think about, all I have to think about is how to catch fish, which is a great position to be in.
And I think also in your discussion, you mentioned that we are very fortunate to where we live because we have so much water. As people know, we're in Richmond, Virginia, and through the middle of downtown, we have an amazing river that runs through us, the James River. There are rivers to the north and south, the North Anna, South Anna, Mattaponi. You have the Appomattox. You have, then you go west. You have the mountains for trout and then your love is any of the tidal waters and the Chesapeake Bay. So you have salt, you have fresh, you have the mixture, you have everything.
You have everything. Yeah, I mean, there's a few tropical species we don't get.
Yeah.
But there's a few tropical species we do get.
Yep.
So we get a wide variety of situations to encounter and become completely sucked up by, just completely eaten up by. And there's something for everybody, right? We have people who just want to catch panfish.
And there's ponds all over the place.
Exactly.
Yep.
And we have people who want to go for a cobia on the fly. And, you get to make of it what you want to make of it. And that's kind of the beauty of it. It's just, it can be as simple or as complicated as you want. But at the end of the day, you're spending a day outside waving a stick at fish, which is pretty relaxing.
So let's talk a little bit about that stick, as you called it. For those that are listening or watching, how do I know what I want to get into? I mean, because rods, as you know, are made, I don't want to say for specific types of fish, but for different, let's call it weight classes of fish.
Yeah. Yeah. So, the first thing I would do is find out what fishing opportunities are available to you, right? And be realistic of which one is going to be the one that you go towards more often. Most of the literature around fly fishing is around trout.
Right.
And that's just where we come from. And it is much more common to see a fly angler on a trout stream than a spin angler on a trout stream.
Right.
It's also much more common to see a spin angler on a bass lake than a fly angler on a bass lake, right? So most of it does come from trout, and you're going to find a lot of information about trout, which is going to tell you that a 5-weight rod is the perfect rod to start with.
Can we stop there for a second?
Yeah.
What does that mean? A 5-weight rod for someone who doesn't know.
Yeah. So line is the single most important thing in your gear.
Okay.
Right? We are waving these rods at fish in a specific way to throw something that is virtually weightless. The line is what's carrying your fly to the fish. That's where the energy is. That's where the mass is for the energy to be carried.
Got it.
Right? So there's different lines that are either heavier or lighter. If you're in a really tight stream, you might want to go lighter. Presentation is a lot softer, a lot mellower, so the line's actually thinner.
Okay.
Because the line is thinner, the rod has to be a little flexier, a little softer in order for it to cast. The opposite is true. If you're casting a giant fly at a muskie or a pike, then you need a heavier line that can actually carry this fly that can be 16 inches. So there's two reasons why you would pick a fly line. One is there's two reasons why you would pick a different size rig.
Okay.
One is because of the line that you need to carry the weight of the fly.
Okay.
If you're casting very small flies at trout, then you don't need a very heavy line.
Right.
Actually, a lighter line will land more subtle. It'll be a softer presentation, and it would spook less fish. A heavier line is going to carry a bigger fly for muskie, or right in the middle, you'd find your bass kind of flies.
Right.
And those lines are going to be thicker, heavier, so
Yep.
that you can put more energy into it so that it can carry a bigger fly. The second reason why you would choose a different size rig is the rod itself. Certain fish, you need a certain amount of backbone to land, right? So, for example, your average tarpon fly is only 4 inches, but it's a 150-pound fish that you're after.
Right.
So you need a very heavy line to be casted by the rod that you need to fight the fish. So there's two reasons. One is for the size of the fly, right? So
The larger the fly, the more mass you need to propel the fly. Therefore, a heavier weight rod
is necessary to
Yep.
propel the fly line.
Right.
And the other one is the other way around, right? In order to fight the fish, you need this heavy rod. I can cast any tarpon fly on a 5-weight.
But that thing's going to be splintered all over the place in 10 seconds.
Exactly. So you need a certain oomph on the rod to fight that fish. So there's two reasons, right? And then some fish are absolutely magical, where the size of the fly is the same size of the fish that you need to throw. The size of the fly and the size of the rod that you need, like, for example, largemouth bass,
Yep.
a 7-weight,
Is perfect.
it's just spot on
Right.
for most of the year. 7-8 weight, just spot on. Or frankly, for trout, right? A 4-weight is 4 or 5 weights spot on.
Spot on. Yep.
It's all you need to throw it, and it's all you need to land it, and you're maximizing the bend to fly ratio.
Yes.
So it's all, you're making these decisions based on those two factors: size of the fish or size of the fly.
Gotcha.
So figuring out what you're going to realistically be fishing for should be the first question.
Yep.
If you tell me, you know what, I'm just going to be, I just want to catch panfish, go buy a 3 or 4-weight fiberglass rod
And enjoy
every second.
because it will put a great bend in. You're only casting 30, 40 feet. It's easy to do a little strip and hook up every time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
And what's his face? Bart Lombardo
Yeah.
has made a living. If you don't follow him on Instagram, go ahead.
Great
Panfish
guy.
on the fly. Great guy.
Great guy.
Absolutely. Right. So yeah.
but the literature that you'll find online says buy a 5-weight as your first rod, and I wholeheartedly disagree with that.
Because if you're not going to fish for trout or something in that smaller range, you're a redfishman. You love reds and bull reds and drum. There's no chance. If I brought my 5-weight on your boat and we casted to even a 20-inch redfish, there's not a chance I'm landing that fish.
Yeah, you'd be hard pressed at times. I think it's doable, but not ideal.
Right.
And on top of that, we do want to minimize the fight.
Yeah.
So if you're fishing redfish with a very light rod, you're overstressing them. You don't have enough backbone to fight anything over 20 inches. You're just not going to be able. You're not being fair to the fish at that
Correct.
point. You're doing a silly thing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't do it, but know that it is not the most responsible thing that you can do, and then use your judgment and decide.
Right.
So it's the same thing if I was to hook a tarpon on an 8-weight, on a big tarpon on an 8-weight, I just wouldn't be doing right by the fish.
Correct.
And I do need those fish to recover so I can come back and catch them again.
Yeah.
So we want to be fair to the fish. That's the situation where the fly is smaller. You can cast a redfish fly. You can cast this on a 5-weight, no problem.
Right, exactly.
Right, this
But
on a 5-weight, no problem. But you're not necessarily being fair to the fish.
correct.
You want to enjoy the fight, but make it quick.
there's a way to enjoy the fight still on the heavier rod, so that you are said fair to the fish, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So gear correctly.
Yep.
You will find yourself in situations where you went out fishing for panfish on a 3 weight and a
A good
5 pound bass.
right, hits it, and you're like, oh.
And but it's the practice of it, right? That is, you want to be careful with the
Sure,
fish. They're giving us great times, and we want them alive.
Right, exactly.
So the first thing is be realistic about where you're fishing, what you're going to be fishing for. When we owned a shop here in Richmond, when people came in to buy their first rod, I would always, not always, I would ask, are you going to be fishing in town? Mm-hmm. Most people said, yeah, I'm going to fish the James. I want to go out on the rocks here and make a few casts. And if I catch some fish, great. If I don't, awesome. And I'm like, we do have the striped bass and shad run as well. You should really get a 7-weight to get started here.
Right.
Because you're going to be able to cast the bigger flies
Yes.
for smallmouth. And you're also going to be able to cast the sinking lines for stripers. And it's going to give you a little versatility on that end. But if you go trout fishing, your presentation might be a little too heavy.
Right.
You can still take that big rod, that bigger 7-weight trout fishing, but it's not ideal. I would rather be over rod than under rod.
Yeah.
Right? You can do a lot more with a heavier rod. So I would always recommend a 7 if you live here in Richmond. Mm-hmm. I think that's a really good place to start. I actually have a 7-weight here in my hand. I got this 7-weight, and you can see the
Temple Fork Axiom 2-X. Yep.
And it says it right there.
Yeah. Exactly. 7-weight, 9-foot. Yeah. 4-piece.
Essentially, we're looking at what we're throwing and how hard the fish fights. Mm-hmm. Those are the two factors. With panfish, we're throwing little things. As the fish get bigger, what we really are buying is a 7-weight line and an appropriate rod to throw it with. Right? I always like to get in that mentality is how heavy does the line need to be to propel this? Okay, how heavy does the rod need to be to propel that line?
And we want to match the weight rod with the weight line. There are some small exceptions, but really that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, most of the time that is correct.
Right.
You can try a size up or a size up line to your rod if you want a little bit more bend in it.
Yep.
And that's fine. But the way lines are being decided now is they have, generally speaking, a heavier taper towards the front that's going to make up for most of those differences. So most of the time, you want to match your weight rod with the weight line that you want to throw.
And then the reel also has to be in that same match too, right?
Right, because the size of the line gets thicker. Mm-hmm. And as it gets thicker, then it needs more space to fill. So the reel actually gets bigger. So I'm going to show you here a bigger reel.
Yep.
Right, so this is a slightly bigger reel. This is a 7, 8, 9 weight reel.
Right.
So it's larger for saltwater fish, and the line actually I have on here is an 8, because my winter line it was just a little too light to throw on on the 8. I bought the 8-weight line to put on my 8-weight rod. I casted it, and I was like, you know what? It's a little light. Mm-hmm. I want a little more heft to it. I want to feel a little more bend in the rod from it. I'm going to size down the rod, but we're getting nitty gritty on it. The beauty of it is if you go to a fly shop, you can have these conversations about your area with the people from the fly shop, or reach out to me, I'd feel more than happy to reach out to me. My contact info is right. You can join our newsletter, and the newsletter will come right from my email.
Right. Or you can go to contact us, and then right there.
Yep. So you can reach out if you have questions. I'm more than happy to help out.
Or an email as well.
Yeah. Send me an email, call us, send a smoke signal. I don't know. Just reach out.
Yeah. Because you are making an investment.
Yeah.
And okay, so let's talk a little bit about that part of it. Okay, so I know I want to target smallmouth bass which, as you said, would be a 7 weight, which also gets me in the striper shad game as well, right?
Right.
But I mean, if I walk into a fly shop, I'm going to see 7 weight rods that are going to range from $200 to $2,500. Why such the difference? And what, as a first time angler, what should I truly be looking to spend? Obviously, I mean, I don't need to spend $10,000, do I?
No, absolutely not. No, I think there is a diminishing returns curve with the investment on a fly rod. I love this question. I have it right here on my notes. I love this question. What you really want to buy is buy a reputable brand that stands by their product. It is an investment, as you said. They are not cheap.
Right.
I also will say that there is not a major manufacturer right now making a bad rod
Okay.
at any price.
Okay.
You can purchase a $150 rod and up and get 95% of what you would get from a $1,000 rod. You'd get a lot of what you need to get out of it. It's not as pretty. It might be a little heavier, but it doesn't make it a bad rod. What I would suggest is that you buy a rod that has a 25-year lifetime warranty that is serviceable. This rod I just showed you, I have broken. My boat has broken it, I think 4 times in the last couple of years, and for I think it's $672 or something, they'll just send you a replacement piece.
Right.
And I didn't lose my investment. This company in particular does a really good job at backing their products. They respond super quick. They have spare parts on hand. They just ship them to you like that. So you're off the water for a few days without having to buy a new rod.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that is a crucial part of the equation, is to buy something that is serviceable. That if you break, you're not going back to the shop to spend another $100 when you could have just bought a $150 rod, $200 rod.
Right.
That you could service. You're gonna break them. How many rods have you broken?
More than I can count.
Me
I mean,
too.
on fish, because you turn a certain way to fight a fish and you twist your body, and that twists the rod. And rods are meant to bend, not twist and bend.
Yeah.
That happens. Or, I mean, how many times do you lay the rod on the ground to take a picture
on it.
and you step on it, or
Yeah.
you lean it against the car
Or a
and the wind.
fly hits it and it chips it, and then the next cast it breaks.
They're delicate instruments,
Yeah.
and they're not delicate instruments.
Yeah.
They're heavily tapered, as you just showed, right?
Yeah.
From the butt section where the reel goes. I'm going to pull you up full screen here to the tip. I mean, that is a tremendous difference. You really do. I mean, you need the tip to be thin to feel the sensitivity of the fish for the presentation.
To load the rod on the cast.
Right?
So yeah, buy a rod that has a warranty.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
And if they have a warranty, that means that the rod is serviceable.
Right.
Right? So the warranty doesn't mean that if you break it, they'll just send you another one.
Right.
It means that they're going to have parts to repair it if it happened and when it happens.
Right.
So at about $150, $170, those rods do start at that price point. I have heard of some companies going for less with that kind of warranty. I think that's fair. Again, it's just an expensive pointing stick, as Flip used to call it, and that's you don't have to buy top of the line. And frankly, the entry level rods these days are phenomenal. They're incredible. Yeah. I don't think there's a fish I could catch on a $1,000 rod that I couldn't catch on a $200 rod.
Correct.
Sadly, that is a lot steeper entry price point
than going to Walmart and buying a spinning rod off the rack for $30 with the Zebco reel or whatever the case may
Correct.
be. Right.
And we're still not getting into reel and leader.
Right.
And line.
Yes.
Right. So that is the price of the stick at about $150 to $200. That's where I would recommend that if you're gonna invest in it, just buy once, cry once, rather than go and break it, and then it's a rod that you can't service or can't get parts for.
Right.
I truly believe that that is a wise investment if you're going to get into it, which is, it brings me to the point, and I'm going to circle back here.
Sure.
It brings me to the point, if you can try fly fishing before you buy gear, I think it's a great way to start.
Yeah.
You go on a guided trip, you go with your friends, you borrow a rod, you come
You go
to a
take
class.
the class.
Which, by the way, that's what this class is for. It's,
Right.
It's a way to figure out, is this for me?
Yeah.
And we do have these casting clinics for $20 as well. We will have one in late December, mid to late December.
Oh, you will.
I'm trying to fit it in there. And they are.
Oh, you will.
Oh, I will.
Oh,
I'm trying
I
to-
might be there. I was humbled. Let's go back to.
Let's do it, Maddie. But yeah, we will have another casting clinic, and we do casting lesson, private casting lessons. So if you can try before you buy, I think that that's a great way to start.
Yeah.
This class is designed for that. You don't need any gear. If you look at the bottom of the description, no experience or gear are necessary. This is part of our plot to keep you trapped fly fishing. But the goal really is, can you try before you buy? Can you get an experience out and decide, all right, I'm ready to spend a good amount of time and money into this? If the answer is, you know what? No, I went to this class. I learned a bunch of stuff. I had a good time. Instructor was a dumbass, but
I'm pretty sure that he's not a dumbass, but that's okay. Dumas, as we like to call it.
Dumas.
But the point is, I think you're right. This is one of the times you can try before you buy, because there is a very steep learning curve to fly fishing versus spin casting. Now, I'm not diminishing spin casting, but simplified spin casting is flip the bail open, cast it out there, bail closes, reel, maybe you're twitching, whatever.
yeah.
Fly casting, there is as there's timing, there's tempo, there's
Feel,
hand
there's-
placement, there's don't move
Technique.
the elbow. There's thousands of things.
And I will say that it's the same for spin, but the curve is different. Where with spin is like, okay, you can get it out there immediately.
Yep.
And then that top level is amazing. And
Yeah.
I watch people who are really good with the spin rod, and I'm amazed by how
But
good
things
they
that
are
can do, right? Yeah.
that I cannot do.
Sure.
I have a really good water friend, now good friend, Chris Fox. He's out there doing the same thing I'm doing. One of the few people who commits to sight fishing for reds. He's on spin. And he is deadly with it. He is spot on.
Right.
Like,
But he's upper echelon in the spin world.
yeah.
Right.
So the curve just looks a little different.
Right.
Where fly fishing is slow going at the beginning,
Yeah.
and then you,
Can really accelerate.
while I feel like the spin world, you can get it out there pretty quick.
And then what you do from that point, that next change, yeah, for sure. Right.
That's a
Yep.
which, I see that, and I'm like, and I see a lot of fly anglers get snooty about it, and I just don't think it's accurate.
No,
right?
for
I
sure.
think the curve is shaped different,
Yeah.
but I don't think that it's any easier
For sure.
to be truly good.
All right, so try before you buy if you can.
Yeah.
The beginner's comprehensive class is a great way to do that.
Yeah, learn to cast,
Right.
present, fight fish on a fly rod is very different.
Mm-hmm.
Land fish, handle them properly. Is it for you? I'm not offended. I'm not offended if you don't love the thing I love the most in life. I'm not offended at all. Definitely not offended.
But at least you tried it.
Yeah, but I actually am a little offended. Kidding. No, but it's if you're find out if you're in love with it.
Yeah.
And if the answer is I would rather be, I don't know, soaking sun rays, laying and reading, then why make the investment of
Right.
time and effort and the extra money, right? to do that. So if you have a friend that you can borrow something from, I will say without good coaching, that time you put in alone, it doesn't mean that much.
Because you can
Unless you,
develop bad habits very quickly.
right. And also because of that learning curve, it's going to take you a long time to
Yeah.
know if it is or if it isn't for you. You're just going to be mostly frustrated at the beginning. So, if you can't get over that initial frustration quick enough, which is the goal of the class,
Yep.
right, is to make it so that it's not that frustrating at the beginning, because it can be. It's an acquired taste for sure. So that getting people started is try before you buy.
Yeah.
Let me help you with it.
Sure.
That is my business. That is what I do.
And once
Most
again,
of
let me
my
pull that up there.
There
Give
you
them a
go.
call, 322-7555 in the 804, or again, currentcultureflat.com. Go to contact us. There's his email. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Join the newsletter. Find out what's going on. Or if you want to do, I'm just going to throw this out there, request a trip. There you go. You have, we're talking about striped bass in the area, whether it's fall or spring, plus the shad run. In your group, you have your boys, as I like to call them, Keegan and
boys.
Reed, going out for gar, snakehead. We have the warm water smallmouth, largemouth, and of course down at the bottom here, where is it? Oh, there he is. Sight fishing on the flats for red drum. All right, but I digress. But again, so try before you buy. Hiring a guide, beginner's comprehensive class.
The
Just give
$20
you a call.
casting lesson
Yeah.
that we have is a good way to start. We do provide gear for it. Part of our mission has always been to make it easy for people to start if they want to start.
Yep.
Make it really easy. And because of that, it's a really good thing for me because I see the same people through the years
Yep.
on my boat. It's relationships we've built for a long time. We know if we vibe, if you want to spend a whole day on a 17-foot boat with me.
I've done it. It's not bad, folks. I'm just gonna say there's a lot of laughter, possibly mostly at me, not with me, but it's okay.
Oh, Maddie, you get the worst of me, man.
No,
you get no
I,
mercy
I
from
love
me.
it. But and I don't want mercy, Oh, Matt, that's a great catch. You're almost in the game. 15 feet short.
Try to keep that energy up.
Oh, that was a nice trout set you did. Oh, good job, Matt. Yeah, new
Hey,
strip set here.
You have done it many times, time and time again. You have done it just right. So
All right, so let me roll back here. All right, so we're trying before we buy. We have the rod, but now we have another investment. We have reel and we have line. And Simone, there's thousands of line types out there. There's hundreds of reels. I mean,
Yeah.
how do I even know? Again, try before I buy.
well, let me simplify a little bit. If you're gonna be a freshwater angler, buy a basic reel.
Okay.
Don't again look for something that is a reputable brand that is gonna back their product. But if you're a freshwater angler, the reel is not that important. It just isn't. It is your line holder.
Yeah. For smaller fish.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and even
Like, would you say that even for like smallmouth and largemouth? Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
the reel is a line holder.
Okay.
Maybe steelhead might be the exception here that actually take runs into your drag.
Right. You've been listening to Ron. I like that.
But
And me.
but
yeah.
well, and you're fishing such light leader. You want a smooth drag that
Yeah.
doesn't notch.
Correct.
And that might be the exception. Maybe carp
Yeah.
could be the exception. But for the most part, smallmouth, largemouth, bowfin, gar, even when the stripers are in, the shad when they're in, the reel's truly a line holder.
Yeah.
So if you're a saltwater angler, you do want a seal drag that doesn't allow the saltwater in, or a very easily serviceable open drag that you're gonna have to maintain. My favorite reels have an open drag system right now, even for saltwater.
Right.
But they are not easy to maintain. So if you're not gonna commit to maintaining them, just get a seal drag. The line, however, is the single most important part of the equation. I would rather cast a basic $180, $170 fly rod with an $80 to $100 fly line than a $1,000 fly rod with a $40 fly line. Those $40, $50 on the fly line make a bigger difference to me than a few hundred dollars to $1,000 on the fly rod. The line to me is everything.
Yeah.
I can make magic happen with a good line on a basic rod, while I couldn't do the same if I have a sticky, like barely tapered line.
Yep.
I can't make that work as well. I have used a lot of under beginner fly rods with bad lines.
Yes.
And I tell the people, hey, rod is fine. And when I say under beginner, I mean they don't have that backing, that warranty, that serviceability. The rod is actually fine. When I cast it, it feels fine. It truly does feel. I think they're fine rods. They put that line on, and it's just a completely. They spend $80, $100 on a line. That's really the thing that's gonna bring that rod over.
Yeah.
And then and picking a line, of course, you want the line that is the size of your rod, but they do come in different textures, for different water temperatures, for different species, and that's where it gets really specific. Buy something for the species that you're going to be fishing the most, for the season that you're going to be fishing the most, right? So
that's a conversation you need to have with someone like yourself or somebody at a reputable fly shop in your area.
Right.
Right.
And, in town, we got Andrew and Virginia who work at the Orvis store, and they're plenty knowledgeable to help you out with that. And they are so helpful and kind. They're great people to talk about these nitty gritty line selection and stuff, that they can actually sell you a line. And they're good friends. And I always just want to say that they're good people to talk to.
Right.
And I couldn't recommend talking to them more than. You could also talk to me, but then you'd have to deal with me.
Again, that's not that difficult. It really is not. Okay, so all right. So now I've bought the line, I've bought the rod, I've bought the reel. So I have my setup, my basic setup, whatever that is, right? And
I want to add, you can buy a combo.
Okay.
You can buy a combo, and you can buy a really good combo with the support that we're looking for about $300.
Okay, so we're in the game. Let's say for about 300, as you said.
And you need flies and stuff.
Okay, but let's just go one step at a time here first. But now I need to learn. We go back to the beginner comprehensive class, or really what's more important is, how do I cast?
Yeah,
I know you're going to teach that at the comprehensive class, but now I've already done the comprehensive class. It's got me interested in this, but now I kind of forgot some of the basics.
Yeah. So
what am I doing? Am I calling my buddy? You're going to learn his mistakes then too, right?
There's no perfect caster.
Right.
And no one is perfect at casting, right? The records keep getting beat year after year. Like distance records, accuracy records, they keep getting beat year after year, which tells us that people are just learning more and more about casting.
Right.
And being more and more precise. So nobody's perfect. It's a sport like any other. No one's golf swing is perfect.
Correct.
No one's basketball shot is perfect. No one's 3-point shot, or penalty shots or kicks or
whatever the case.
It's a sport.
Yep.
No one's going to be perfect at it. So practice is crucial, but practicing the right things is even more crucial. So learning from somebody who
understands the mechanics of the fly cast to
Right.
be able to teach it, because you can go to YouTube and you're going to see somebody say you need to cast between 10 and 2. Oh,
Kind of true, but incomplete.
but 10 and 2 is not this to this, it's this to this. There's a difference in, as you've told me,
Yeah.
and I've heard from others, what your thumb does is what your rod does. What your rod tip does is what the line does. So if this is my 10, my rod tip is now pointing all the way, and now my line is back here.
Right.
Whereas if I'm here and I'm at 2, now my line is here. See, I've learned
A half inch on your thumb,
is because you're using a 9-foot rod.
so the lever is all the way up there.
It's huge. It's 4 feet of difference.
So I was actually teaching a lesson this summer, and I set up a camera, and I had the angler cast, and I
Right.
wanted to show them what they were doing because they thought that they were here, but they thought that they were here, but they were here.
Yep.
And I was like, hey, just watch this. And then I went and casted myself, and I found a big mistake in my cast.
In your cast, right?
That I didn't know was there until I saw myself film it. And I was like, oh my God, I'm doing what? Because it becomes a habit.
Yep.
And the habit changes little by little. So having proper coaching, if you want to get better, is a really good thing. Now, if you want to cast 30 feet at panfish or trout, like the cast really, you just pick it up and lay it down. And but we do have tons of opportunities that kind of cast is not gonna do it for.
Right.
So you don't have to be like there's many golfers out there, and none of them strive to be Tiger Woods.
Correct.
Right? They just golf. That's perfectly fine.
Sure.
So I just like to bring it back to, you can take this as seriously as you want to. And I think that by taking it seriously myself, I disconnect from the stresses of life more. So I want to get, like, I have that drive in me, but if all you want to do is go down by the river in the summer and sit on a rock and then pick up your rod and catch a few panfish and sit back down on the rock,
You can do that all day.
welcome to it.
Right.
But if you are going to practice and you want to get better and you're seeing this as a sport that you want to go up and get better on, get coached by somebody who actually knows what they're doing.
Yep.
There's also, and by someone who actually knows what they're doing, that actually knows how to coach. I know a lot of really good casters, and it's funny, one of them was like, and I was like, oh, you should teach your friends because you have an amazing cast. And she was immediately like, I can't teach it.
There is a way to teach. There's a knack to be able to explain what you're doing, to allow others to comprehend it. And sometimes that just doesn't translate as well.
And I think it comes from watching people cast. I think it's the consistency with
Sure.
which you watch mistakes and you watch the line do certain things.
Yep.
And you follow the pattern. So I think a lot of it comes simply from like, oh, I see where you're at. I see that your thumb is doing this, and therefore the rod tip is doing that, and just picking up the little things. So coaching from somebody who knows what they're looking at is good. Your buddy might be really good at golfing, but that doesn't mean they're a good golf instructor.
Right.
And it's the same thing with a fly cast. The fly cast alone is probably the biggest hurdle into getting into it, but it is also not rocket science to get a workable cast. Right? So yes, getting really good is really hard, but the entry to it, we in a 2-hour session on our $20 class, everybody's casting a workable cast in 2 hours. People who've never held a fly rod are casting 30, 40 feet all the time. And that's going to get you a long way.
Yeah.
Right? You can do a lot with that. is just, can you cast into a 20 knot wind?
Right.
You know, can you hit the hula hoop at a distance with the wind? Like,
That brings you to the next level, depending on the type of fish that you're going for at that point.
and if you even want that.
Correct.
Right?
Right.
Which is something that I have to remind myself all the time is, why am I pushing this person this hard when, you know, they're just out here for the vibes. And I have to be
You have
perfect
to
because
kind of
that's
dial
perfectly
yourself back.
okay.
Right,
That's
yeah.
perfectly all right.
Right. Yeah.
This person's having a great time. I'm drilling them. I'm ruining their vibe. Now you want to get better. I'm going to give you all the
Tips
the
and-
tips I can give you.
Right.
Because by no means do I have a perfect cast, or would I claim to be the best instructor or whatever. But I think I'm pretty good. I take it very seriously, and I try really hard to be the best caster I can be.
Sure.
Which was such a surprising moment the moment I saw myself filmed. I was like, oh man, I'm arcing a little bit. It's about an inch on my thumb on the way back. And I did not know I had no clue I was doing that. The habit just formed and it just spiraled in that direction. Now I'm working on killing that. But
And it's once you have a habit, it is tough to break because you've built up muscle memory
Yeah.
to doing something which might feel more comfortable, but it's quote unquote wrong because it's making the line do different things than it's supposed to do, or that you're really intending for it to do.
right. It's funny because I had been talking this year. I told Reed and I was like, man, I'm not casting as well this year. You know, I lost a good 15 feet to my cast. And the moment I saw myself filmed, I was like, oh. But I needed to see myself from the
Self-do it,
outside
right. Yeah.
because I did not see it when I was doing it.
Right.
So good coaching goes a long way.
For sure.
And my eyes were able to pick up the mistake. My body was not. And that goes a really long way. So yeah, can you find a true instructor, right? An instructor that's going to get you there to form good habits,
Right.
to build that basis for you to build upon. And then, back to try before you buy, maybe a guided trip. There's plenty of species out there that we could have you catching the same day that you touch the fly rod for the first time.
Right.
Panfish always comes to mind for that.
I think panfish, trout was what. So I learned on a trout stream, right?
Yeah.
My comprehensive class, which was a one day. The last 2 hours we were on, and we all caught 6 to 7 inch beautiful brown, and it was wonderful
Yeah.
because it was like. And then by Monday I was spending $300 in the fly shop. But I mean,
Yeah.
but that was really cool, right? Because
Yeah.
you want to have a moment of, I get it. Like, I've done this to a point that I can be successful. Now,
Oh,
can
100%.
I was successful 1 out of 20 times. Can I be successful 1 out of 10? Then 1 out of 5? Then I'll never say 1 out of 1 because you are never going to be 100% fly fishing
No.
success. You might have a very successful cast.
Yeah.
But then you need the other half, which is the trout or fish, whatever it is, to agree to what you're presenting.
Yeah, it's tough. We actually just taught a trout class up at Escataba this week,
A
and
beautiful stretch of water.
it's an
too.
awesome place.
Yeah.
And there was no water. You haven't hit them with water. You need to hit them with water, Maddie.
It's so bad. The drought in the western streams is so bad right now. Some of the places are down 20 inches year to year, which is insane, right? So we got to hope for some good winter, late fall rains now. Yeah.
That would be. I mean, it was very low.
Yeah.
And I started teaching the class, and it was a bunch of teenagers. It was a bunch of teenagers, and I was like, just going through trout behavior, what a nymph is, what a dry fly is, and about an hour in, I'm like, all right, y'all ready for the test? And they're like, there's a test? And I'm like, yeah, it's you versus the stream.
Yep.
Can you do this? And it does feel like a test every time you go out
Of
and try to
course.
figure it out. It feels like a test that you really want to have.
Yeah.
Because you're testing your skill.
Yeah.
And that's why people golf, and that's why people play sports, and that's why people wrestle, is you're testing your skill
skill.
against
Right.
whatever element, the opponent or the whatever
The
element.
opponent just happens to have fins and gills and can look extremely pretty, and you
Yeah.
take a great picture, and
Yeah.
yeah.
And you had a great day chasing it.
That's exactly right. Exactly.
But just figure out, can you figure out if fly fishing is for you before you commit? So first thing is figure that out.
Okay.
Tons of options on how to go about that: guided trip, classes, casting lesson, a good buddy that knows what they're doing, has the equipment. Try before you buy. Then I would consider buying gear.
Yep.
When you are buying your gear, think of where you're going to fish and buy something adequate for that. Plenty of us are out here to help you with that.
Right.
But just figure out what it is that you need to find success in the waters that you're going to most consistently fish.
Right.
And I'm just going to say it. This class has all of that. It's what it's designed to do. And this is starting to sound like an infomercial to the class.
No,
but
it's not. I
but
think
it's adequate.
It fits the bill, right? Because this is how we all got started, was in seeing something and maybe attending a class to see if it is right for you.
Right.
Right. And so people see the price there, $250. It's a 2-day class. It is 4 hours each, a total of 8 hours. So you're covering everything in that. And at the end of day one, you said you might do a little fly tying.
There's a bonus fly tying session till, for another 2 hours. And there's second day, there's a bonus
On the
weather
water.
permitting.
Right, yep.
Maddie permitting.
I love how I still get drawn into that.
Hey man, I gotta blame somebody for
I
the weather.
understand. No, I blame
You're
you
the
too.
weather man, so you're gonna get it.
And you keep the size of the class down considerably so that you have that one-on-one instruction, because what better way than to have that hands-on one-on-one across the board?
And snacks are in there, and no one's going hungry on my watch. I'll tell you that. But and we rent a space to do it at downtown Richmond, and then we do a section of it outside. So the goal really is to cover we tried to do it in one day.
It's just too much.
And people were not happy about it. And I was like, well, we'll just split it into 4-hour sessions because we were moving fast.
And sometimes it could be information overload.
And that's what it was.
And you need time to process a little
That's
bit.
what it was. I mean, people were walking out dizzy.
Yeah.
And I was walking out dizzy because I was like, I can't believe I just spoke for 8 hours about this nonsense, but about something completely irrelevant. But it's so easy to do.
Yeah.
I mean, how long have we been on this? And we're
1 hour and 12 minutes.
We are talking about learning.
Right.
Like, we're not even about starting. We haven't even started. So that's really that really is like the nitty gritty for me. Is try before you buy, know what you're gonna go after, then buy.
Got it.
That's the broad brushstrokes here. Fly fish because you want to fly fish, not because it's most effective. Don't expect, as your skill level goes up, your fish catching goes up, but don't expect it to be simple. You're gonna have to try.
Right.
And that's the appeal, is that it is hard.
Yeah.
In that hard, just remember to keep it fun. Here's my last section, hot tips.
Yeah.
Keep it fun. It's not serious. I keep repeating, like, it's irrelevant. You're not fly fishing. If you're fly fishing, it's not because you need to feed a family with the fish you catch.
Right.
It's simply for the connection we were talking about earlier. It's for the good time. It's for a day on the water with your friends or your family. Keep it fun. Don't forget that it's supposed to be fun. That is what it's supposed to be. And I have to remind myself of that every time I guide, because it is my job, but it is also my job to keep it fun for my angler.
Right.
I might be stressed, but I cannot put that on my angler.
Correct.
Because this is their day
their
of rest and relaxation.
6-7 hours of just pure enjoyment, and they're hoping to enjoy every minute of it.
Exactly.
Right? The highs and lows, which come along with fishing.
Oh, 100%.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's full of emotion.
Right.
It's all full. Emotions run very high, very high highs, very low lows.
Right.
And at the end of the day, those low lows are still irrelevant.
Yeah.
Because you just had, you went on a roller coaster.
Yeah, of course.
Why do people go on roller coasters?
Because they love the thrill.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's not, you're not going and you ended at the place where you started.
Right.
You didn't go anywhere. You just enjoyed it. And then my hot take is that there's just too many experts on the internet.
I agree.
Too many experts on the internet. And I start most of my classes by giving the caveat that y'all should take what I say with a grain of salt. Every single word of it. There's nothing that shuts me down more than somebody speaking in absolutes about fishing. That just tells me that they haven't seen someone else do something they haven't done and catch fish, which tells me they haven't been around it long enough. I learn from every single guide that we have on our staff consistently. Super often, I learn from my clients. There's very often I learn from the day itself. Like every day, I learn just like, oh, I didn't think about that. Interesting. Oh, that bottom is holding. It's a degree and a half warmer towards the back of this creek than towards the bottom, and it's because we have darker mud back here. And I'm trying.
Those types of things make a difference.
There's things that you don't notice, and you can learn your whole life, and not learn it all. So if anyone starts speaking in absolutes, this is how you do it, this is this, and this is that, that's just the way that they know, and you should listen, but take everything with a grain of salt. There's just nobody. Of course, there's people who have tried and failed at more things than you have and learned from it. But that doesn't mean that they have the absolute answers, right?
And I don't think there is an absolute answer because I think fly fishing overall is always going to be a work in progress.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%. And I always compare it to meditation because of it. Is, how yoga instructors describe it as, we're going to start our practice. And that to me is like how I hop on the boat every day is we're going to start our practice. And we might crush it today or we might not. And
we're still going to learn something.
Right. If we don't, we're still enjoying the process of learning something new.
Right.
If we do absolutely crush it, then we walk away with an amazing feeling and hopefully some pictures to brag about.
The pictures is what keeps you coming back. Always does, right? I mean, that's Simone, I can't thank you enough. I think you hit on some great points there. Just to kind of recap, number one, try before you buy if you can, right? Whether it's a class or just, friend's gear, whatever. When you go to make that purchase for the species of fish you're going to go after most. Panfish, trout, smallmouth, largemouth, stripers, shad, redfish, whatever out in the ocean you're going to be whatever that's going to be, make sure you make that. Ask a lot of questions to somebody who does it so you buy the right gear. Buy something with a warranty because, as they say, S does happen, right?
Yeah, all the time.
Right, exactly. Right. And never stop learning.
Never stop learning. Yeah. That's honestly, that's the thing that keeps us coming back, right?
For sure.
There's no stopping to it.
No, there is not. I'm going to pull up your website one more time. It's currentculturefly.com, and you can request a trip. If you go on to the classes and events coming up on December 6th and 7th, just about 2 weeks from now, or actually a week from this coming weekend, is the Beginner's Comprehensive class. There are seats available, 4 hours on Saturday, 4 hours on Sunday. You can learn about fly tying there. If you are doing that and you get really hooked, so to speak, and you want to know more about catching fish or the type of gear to buy, contact Simone. He's under the Contact Us. That's the number for his cell right there, or drop him an email at svalencia@currentculturefly.com. Simone, it has been a great conversation. I think from this, what I'd like to do with you is set up 3 different cameras, shoot how to cast, and then discuss the casting, in a video form.
Let's do it.
Let's do that. All right. In the meantime, let me thank everybody for joining us for Off the Hook with Matty D. And our next episode will be dropping soon. And I will bring Simone back a number of times, but we will do an entire casting time. Have a good one, everyone. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Off the Hook with Matty D.